Hello and welcome to part 2 of this video, how to get communication from your twin flame. So I was saying that in some ways you got to think of it in a 5D way. Like, I have my connection with my divine masculine or divine feminine in the 5D realms. I don't need one in the 3D realms. It's nice, but I don't need it. And I know that they love me, and I know that it's there, and I'm going to work on that. Now also, you want to look at it in the 3D realms in the sense of, especially, well, for one thing, if you're still worried about communication in 3D, like getting text messages or phone calls or visits or things like that, you're still caught in the 3D too much. But that means that they are reflecting, and so are they. Now, what I would recommend is, like, look into videos where there are people talking about, like, how to get your ex back and things like that. Even if you just barely met your twin and you've not been through a deeper relationship, or most especially if you have had a relationship with them and you got called into separation, those can be helpful in the sense that one of the main things nearly all of them talk about is that if the other person thinks that all you want is just to be with them again, like your whole motivation for being kind to them or talking to them or any of that stuff is just to be with them, they won't do it. They'll create blocks. They absolutely not, and they're right to do it, especially because if you are focused solely on the 3D of your status, like, are they with you, are they with someone else, if they're with someone else, are they happy, are they talking to you, are they giving you attention, things like that. If you're focused on that stuff, then you don't really love them. You love the feeling you get when you feel like you have them, or when you have the status of a relationship with them. And you can come for me all you want about that, but it's true. And think about how you would feel in reverse if your twin or anybody was just wanting you back because they felt uncomfortable being alone, or if they just wanted to be with you so they felt like they had the status of you, or so that it calmed their anxiety, or so they didn't feel like they were going to lose your connection, but they couldn't really list, like sit down, make a list. What do you love about your twin flame that is enough that you could still love them even if you never talked again, and you could still be happy and feel sustained with the thoughts of your connection, and or you could just have a platonic friendship, you never had anything else. What reasons do you love them that would be enough, that you would be totally comfortable with that? And if you can't list anything, if it's all about, like, well, but I only want to be with them, I don't want to just be friends with them, and, like, if you get caught up in stuff like that, look into limerence. You're probably not experiencing love. That's probably not your twin. And even if they are, you are so caught up in avoiding your own shadow work that you're not going to get communication from them. At least not the kind that you want. You might be able to manifest some communication, but it's likely going to be more fighting. Or think of it this way: no communication is communication. It's communicating that they don't want to talk to you right now, or that they need space, or that they're so wrapped up in things that have very little to do with you and focused on that stuff. In fact, if they are your twin, you always reflect. And so if you are simply focused on status and, like, squashing your own feelings of anxiety or loneliness or things like that, and you're very caught in the 3D world, guess what? They are too. And so your spirit's not going to let you come together like that. In fact, the two of you are not going to come together if that's all you're focused on, because the twin flame relationship, more than anything, is focused on self-worth, self-respect, healing, healthy interdependence. Look into that. If either one of you still has shadow work to deal with in terms of codependence or hyper independence, then you're not in a place where you can have a healthy interdependent relationship with anybody, least of all your twin. And so if you see them reflecting that stuff, guess what? You got it in your life somewhere too. And if you feel like anything that you would accuse them of, look for in yourself. If you feel like they're just being stubborn, you're being stubborn too. If you feel like they're just afraid of rejection, Look for where you're afraid of rejection. If you feel like they're wrapped up in a karmic third-party situation, look for your karmics. And remember that karmics do not have to be people. And even if they have a person, your karmic relationship could be different. It could be with family. It could be with your children. It could be with work. It could be just a shitty thinking pattern, especially if you're caught up in a victim martyr cycle where you feel like it's the end of the world if they're not talking with you. And really think about that. Who wants to be in an actual active relationship with somebody who feels like it's the end of the world if we're not giving them 100% of our attention 100% of the time? That's not fun. It's not cool. And you wouldn't like it if it was actually tables turned and that's what you received on that end. Now, once you work through a lot of this stuff and you actually get to receptive mode and you stop needing it, that's when you get communication. And that's when you get the good communication. I'm not talking about a little hello or can I see the kids or like a fleeting breadcrumb about things. No, I mean like the good communication where they share with you how they're feeling and what's keeping them away and why they're scared and what they're angry about and things like that and what they've been blaming you for and what they realized was never your blame. Like that, like the good heartfelt heart-to-heart communication starts to come in when you don't need it anymore. That's how most manifestation works. You think about what you want, usually by going through getting stuff that you didn't want. So you clarify, then you focus on what you want, you focus on it a lot, and then you let it go. You release it. And once, see, the crow agrees, then you release it, and it's right when you don't need it anymore that you get it. And that's why they often say it's the when you get it when you least expect it. It's not even that necessarily, because when you get more advanced into it, like where I am now, the hard part is actually getting back to a place of being open to being pleasantly surprised. Because once you know how it works and you know how the positive expectation works, then you can lock it out of place by expecting it too much. So then you got to get back to a place to where you can expect it and also not worry about it and release it so it can come to you. So there's, you're going to get a higher quality of problem